Getting ready to start the Bend Like Bamboo live session at midday today. I think it's all in the mix. Here we go. I think some people are joining the live. Welcome. Beautiful. Hi, Colleen. Oh, this is... I think Colleen's about to join us. Welcome to the Bend Like Bamboo live session today, midday. Colleen, that happened perfectly.
It worked. It
It just, you're in, you bumped in so quickly. I haven't even had a chance to introduce you, but it's so much better that you're here so we can do it together. Welcome to the Bend Like Bamboo live session today.
Awesome. We're getting good at this.
We're getting good at this. You should have seen my first one. I had my head upside down. Anyway, we're here. How's your morning going? Well, it's actually midday now. Happy Saturday.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. I've been for a beautiful walk to the beach early this morning with my chocky labs, and that was lovely. And now just, enjoying Saturday.
Oh, what a perfect morning. I love, walking down the beach and being with the dogs.
So nice.
Oh,
how
beautiful.
about you?
Good. Today's a work day for me. I've been seeing my beautiful clients today at my private practice, and now I'm here with you, which is even better.
Wonderful. That's awesome.
So I really love all that you do, Colleen. You really inspire me. I must admit, I was pretty starstruck when we first met. And then as I got to know you, I realized, you know what, she's actually a really good person, and you're so humble. And I feel like when I talk to you, I just feel like I can actually talk to you about anything.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I loved meeting you, and we kind of hit it off straight away, really, didn't we? We kind of had this really awesome connection, and it's been wonderful to stay connected and to be, doing things together and sharing our message together, which is lovely.
I totally agree. So we've got more and more exciting things to happen in the future. But so I interviewed you last year. I had you on the Resilience Show, and we talked all about resilience, and you shared a beautiful story about lots of things that you've been through and how you've learned to be resilient. And I thought today we could dive into something that I know you're very passionate about and something you are very good at, which is leadership.
Thank you. Sorry, it's a little bit hard. It's cutting in and out. Sorry, I missed that last little bit, Amanda.
Oh, sorry. I've got you loud and clear, but let's do this. Last time we spoke about resilience, so today I thought on this live we could talk about something I know you're very good at, and you've got so much experience with, which is leadership. Because I know, so what inspires you is to help women, particularly, to find their superpower and to believe in themselves. I just love this about you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very passionate about leadership, and not only my own leadership, but the leadership of those around me. And that's pretty much the way I've lived my whole career, and particularly the last 13 years when I was in a CEO role. It was very, very important to me that the people around me, had a leader that inspired them, and then they became leaders that inspired others. So I'm very, very passionate. In fact, when I started writing the Mentor Me program, I went straight to leadership because that's absolutely what I love. And then I had to pull myself back and start with building those foundations, which are, values and purpose and knowing yourself. And, I always say we can't lead anyone else until we're leading in our own lives. And, that's really important to do.
Yeah, and you've come from, you've worked at Sportsgirl. You used to be the CEO of Sportsgirl, and you were there for 20 years. Is that right?
Yeah, 20 years in the group, and 13 of those as CEO, with the past 7 as CEO at Sportsgirl. So yeah, 20 years. I thought it was time to hang up those striped Sportsgirl boots at the end of 20 years. And I always say my real passion at Sportsgirl is really just in, being interpreted now in a different way. I've always wanted to inspire and empower and help people grow. And this next chapter of my life, I'm doing exactly the same. My mission hasn't changed. My purpose hasn't changed. I'm just now choosing to do it in a different way, which is, via my book and via podcasts and, via live streams like we're doing today and mentoring women. So I think, we have this purpose. And I say to people, when we move from doing what we do to why we do it, is when we become very, very successful and passionate about what we do. So my purpose hasn't changed just because I'm not in a CEO role. It's exactly the same.
Exactly. It's come to a point now where you've worked really hard. You've worked in all different facets of, the company and you've developed your career. And now everything you've learned, what I love about the Mentor Me program is now you're giving back and sharing your knowledge and helping other people. I think that's so cool. And tell us more about Mentor Me.
So Mentor Me, it kind of came a little bit out of COVID, to be honest. When I finished March last year in my CEO role, I had planned to do some travel and write my book and, spend some time with my family and do a lot of passion projects. And then, of course, COVID hit, went from 0 to 100 in a minute. So I was in lockdown like everyone else and decided to start Mentor Me Women, which is all about empowering and inspiring women to lead in their lives, whether that be in business or in life. And it's been really wonderful. And I've got to say, I was kind of doing my Mentor Me Women program and writing my book at the same time.
Right.
Although I did kind of lock myself down and wrote my book, I just powered through it, which I did kind of in a month, really, in really solid terms. Yeah, really? I kind of had been tinkering around with it, but then I went hard. I'm very all or nothing kind of person, so I wrote the book. But I've got to say, doing the Mentor Me Women program helped me so much because I had all of these amazing, beautiful women that were sharing their stories. And I do write in my acknowledgements at the back of my book that there's a little bit of every Mentor Me woman in my book. There is something, not directly anyone in particular, but there's a little bit of all of them in that book, whether it be about building confidence or whether it be about, believing in self or whatever it might be. So I've got to say the Mentor Me helped me when I was writing my book.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And that would have been a perfect synchronicity of developing your mentor program, which is such important work. And at the same time, while you were writing your book, that was the gift, I guess, of the lockdown is to, because you are right. That's so once you decide to do something, you'll just execute. It's like, well, I just wrote the book.
Yes.
That was just me. That's what I love about you. You decide to do something and you execute, which just shows why leadership is really important. Because when you find that leader within you, you need to feel like a leader to act like a leader, I believe. And how do you think it changes your life when you really do find that leadership within you?
Yeah, I think that we can make such a positive impact on the people and the world around us. And I talk a lot in my book about, I think there's this old era of leadership and there's this new new era of leadership that we need to move into. And if you Google the word leadership, there's as many definitions as there are leaders, but, there are words that come up like authority and superintendence and supervision and, all of these very, power, and they're all correct in true definition. But I like to think about leadership as support and nurture and challenge and taking people out of their comfort zone and picking people up when they fall over. And I think and kindness. And I think that's the new era of leadership. And, I came up with my own definition of leadership, which is one life impacting another in a positive way. And I say that every day, one life impacting another in a positive way. And you don't need to be a leader to do that. You don't need a title to do that. We all have the ability every single day, whether that be every action, every interaction, every discussion, every decision we make. Yes. That allows us to choose whether we want to be a leader in our own lives or not.
Yeah, as a mother or a sister or a colleague, we can be a leader in that way every single day. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your book is called Leader by Design. Why that title?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's kind of a little bit of a, tongue-in-cheek, I suppose. I've worked in the fashion industry for 30 years, but I've also become a leader by design. And there's kind of two parts to that answer. So I'll give you the first one, which is, is really, we often look and admire people that have titles and authority and power and rank and position, and they label them as leaders. And what I learned over time in both business and in life, because my book is not just a business book, my book is about life. And what I learned is that these trappings do not automatically qualify a person to be a leader or be in a leadership role. You know, leadership really starts with self. And as I said, we don't even need a title to be a leader. We have this ability every single day to be a leader. And, you know, we have the ability to become the leader we wanted to be. We have the ability to become the leader we wanted to follow. And I always talk about, I wanted to be a leader that people chose to follow, because a lot of people follow people or do what people say because they're in these leadership roles, but would they really follow them? And, you know, even from a young age, Amanda, I was always intrigued by human behavior. You know, what made people good and what made people bad? And, you know, why did some people treat people with kindness and respect and others stepped on them to gain for themselves? Or, you know, what made some caring and some cruel? Or what made some people, you know, work with fear and others work with collaboration? And so very early on, I started shaping myself into the leader I wanted to be, the leader I wanted people to follow. And hence, you know, I asked questions, and I became this leader by observation, I suppose. I asked questions, and I took notes in my mind, and I listened and I learned, and I was always intrigued. And so without knowing it, I became a leader by design, which is obviously the title of my book. So that's kind of one part. The sort of the second part of it is really, it is a part autobiography. So it really shares my life journey from leaving school at the age of 16 to becoming CEO and everything in between. And of course, how my upbringing shaped me to be the leader and woman that I am today. And I really credit that. And my real goal is, out of my book, there's, again, two parts, is to inspire women to step up. I want them to have a voice. I want them to live with purpose. I want them to become the leaders that they want to be and live with this real confidence. And I want them, as you said, I want them to embrace their superpower. We all have a superpower. Sometimes we can have two. And so my book actually takes you through, in fact, one of the chapters is, you know, the power of self, and it talks about finding your superpower. So there is this real sort of, you know, self-reflection there as well. But I also want to inspire organizations to move into this new era of leadership. The one I was just talking about, one that leads with kindness and compassion and collaboration and authenticity. And you know, I think that is going to be the superpower for leaders moving forward, are leaders who behave in that way. You know, as I said,
absolutely.
My life as a CEO hasn't changed. I'm just doing the same thing in a different sort of forum. So I really hope that when, you know, people get a hold of this book, whether it be women, and again, it's a book for women of all generations. It's, you know, whether you're an entrepreneur, a mum, an athlete, a student, you know, there's tips and advice and guides. And I never wanted my book to be this book that you just read. I wanted it to be a book that you interact with. So there's places you can write stuff, and there's questions, and it's very easy to read, because most chapters start with the power of. So the power of self, the power of leadership, the power of culture. So yeah, I hope that this book can really help women in their journey to living their best life and leading in their own lives.
I have no doubt that it will. I can't wait to read it. I just think you are so inspiring, and I absolutely agree with you that we need more compassionate and kind leadership. And I really believe that when we are happy within ourselves and looking after our own minds and bodies, then we can be kinder. It's when we become stressed, we become more rigid. And so, you know, it really starts within ourselves, and that translates across the organization, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you've lived through that yourself, you know, that power of self and how you were able to heal yourself. So there is this real strength that we have within ourselves. And, you know, I say to all women, we need to start with believing with ourselves, believing in ourselves.
Absolutely. So clearly you're passionate about leadership. What is leadership and what is it not?
Yeah, I always start, as I said, with what it's not. So leadership is not about a title. It is not about the size of your office. It's not about your paycheck. It's not about whether you get a free car park. It's not about how many direct reports you have. Leader has nothing to do with that. Leadership it is all about impacting another person's life. That's what leadership is. And as I said, my definition is one life impacting another in a positive way. Leadership is really about, it's about allowing people to be at their natural best and for them to thrive and shine. It's about taking care of the ones to the left and the ones to the right. It's about creating a way forward for people. It's about being someone that people choose to follow. It's about influence, not authority. And I always say leadership is a lifestyle choice. That's what it is. It's a choice that I've made every day of my life to get up and be the best I can be and be the best leader I can be. And, a lifestyle choice is not something we can do today and do tomorrow. It's like becoming a parent. Being a parent is a lifestyle choice. And, we don't start off knowing everything. When we have children, I know when I found out I was pregnant with Jake, I thought, oh, holy crap, I don't know how to be a parent. So I read books and I asked my mum, because she was a great mum, and I surrounded myself with all my beautiful friends, and some of them had babies then. And, so I learned every day to be a parent, and that was a lifestyle choice. And, as our children grow, we never stop learning to be a parent. My kids are now, I can't call them kids, they're adults now. And I'm still learning every day to be a parent, because as they grow and evolve, their needs change. And just like us leaders, we grow and evolve and we change and we learn. And so leadership is a lifestyle choice, and one that I've chosen to be a student of every single day. And I still continue to learn, and I still strive to be the best leader I can be, and to help other people and other women around me be the best leaders they can be in business and in life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love also how you talk about confidence and self-esteem a lot. And I also really agree that this is such an important topic to talk about and to nourish. And what does confidence mean to you?
Yeah, it's a really, really big one, isn't it? And I think before I started doing the Mentor Me program, I didn't realize what a big challenge this was for every single woman. And of course, we all have confidence issues, and we all have confidence that goes up and down. Yeah, everyone, and I think when I was in my sports girl world, maybe I had my confidence blinkers on because I had this amazing team of women around me for such a long time. And so when I started doing the mentoring, it was a real eye-opener for me. And I really believe that, confidence is this ability to turn our thoughts into actions. It's really this decision to try. And, I talk about, some people think you're born with confidence. Some people might meet someone and go, oh my God, they've always had confidence. I bet they were born with it.
Isn't it funny how everyone assumes that?
Everyone assumes that. And it's just not true. We have to work at confidence, just like we have to work at being resilient every single day. And I say confidence is about the willingness to try. And, when we try something, there's only a couple of things that can happen. We either succeed or we fail. Okay. Yes. And that's okay. It doesn't matter which one. We succeed or we fail. But when we succeed or fail, we're learning. And when we learn, we're building skills. And when we're building skills, we're building competency. And when we're building competency, we build confidence. It's like these building blocks that keep building. And so there are so many things we can do. And, after doing my first Mentor Me program and realizing what a challenge this was, my second Mentor Me program is all about real confidence. And that's all we talk about for 4 weeks is how do we, what are the myths? What holds us back? How do we build confidence? If we can all share those messages and we can all support each other into the, to do those building blocks of confidence, what a beautiful, amazing world we could live in.
That's why kindness is so important, and that we all look out for each other. And it's not about authority, at all. It's just about, obviously there needs to be, structure within, companies, but there can be just such a different way of executing leadership. I think this is such an evolved way of thinking, and, it just shows what an amazing human being you really are with everything you've done and the way that you choose to work and live your life now. I just think it's really important work that you're doing. I can't even imagine how you have juggled such a busy career, having 3 kids, is it? I think 3 kids?
3, yeah.
Wow. So what's the secret? What's your secret? How do you have it? How do you have that because I'm still trying to work it out. How do you have a family and also have such an incredible career all at the same time? Tell me everything.
Oh, thank you. I wish there was a magic pill I could say we can take and it all magically works. But it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. I think as a work, and I've worked my whole sort of, you know, when I had babies, I was working, and I think I had 4 months off with Jake and 4 months off with Trenton and a tad longer with Macy. You know, my children are in their 20s now, and you know, Macy's my youngest at 16. But I think as a mother, the way I navigated my way was through a lot of guilt. I had a lot of guilt all the time. You know, I wanted to be a perfect mum. I wanted to be a perfect sister. I wanted to be a perfect wife. I wanted to be a perfect boss. And, you know, we just can't be perfect. It doesn't, perfection doesn't exist. You know, so I had to move from trying to be perfect to just saying, I'm doing my best and my best is going to be good enough. So I had to move out of the guilt zone into, I can't be perfect. I don't need to feel guilty, and I need to do my best. And, you know, I've always said that and this works for me, I've always said that I think I'm a better mother and a better human being for being a working mother, because I have an identity, you know, outside of being a mother and outside of being a wife and, you know, outside of being even just a CEO, but I feel like I'm contributing to, you know, the greater good, I suppose. I'm contributing to other people every day of the week, and people are contributing back to me as well. So I think I'm a better person for being able to juggle both, but it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And I think we have to make sure we, you know, surround ourselves with people that love and support us, because there's going to be plenty of people that don't. So, you know, I talk about it as my cheer squad, you know, the people that are going to be there always, you know, always cheering you on. And I think the other thing is we are going to fall over, and I think we need to accept that. But when we surround ourselves with people that love us and care for us, we know they're going to pick us up. We know they're going to dust us off and get us back on our way. So really surrounding with the people that love and care and support.
Oh, you just got so many love hearts just then. There's lots of people on. Thank you all for listening. I just saw all these love hearts come up when you just said that.
Oh, lovely. Oh, thank you. There's lots of people. I've actually seen lots of names on there. I know. Hello, beautiful people.
Oh, thank you everybody for watching. So another question, looking back now, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I would probably say that you don't need to be a red Ferrari all of the time, you know, or you need to consider self at some point in time. You know, I had burnout in 2007, and that was really probably the only reason I stopped and pulled into the pits and put some petrol in the tank and changed the tires. And you know, we don't want women to get to burnout before we do that. And I was super lucky that I had this incredible coach, Shanna Kennedy, who's an amazing.
I think she's on.
Human.
Hi, Shanna.
I think she's on. Hi, beautiful. You know, and I was lucky that I could, you know, I had someone to help me get out of that funk when I was in it. And but you know, I don't want women to get to that place where we do burn out. And you know, burnout comes in lots of different ways and shapes. It doesn't mean we're in bed and can't get out. It means we're exhausted. It means we're cranky. It means we can't see a path forward. It means we don't want to get up and do it again tomorrow. So I think that's really, really key is to, if I look back, I'd say to my 18-year-old self, look after yourself and put yourself first. And we don't do that because we are people pleasers and we think that's being selfish if we do. But I say we have to be good to ourselves before we can be good to anyone else.
100%. So the kindness needs to be applied to within ourselves first and foremost. And I love also Shanna Kennedy's work. She's got a book. We had the live a few weeks ago on the life plan, and it really helps you to identify that for yourself. So for you, what do you think caused the burnout mainly for you? Like we all get into it for different it happens for different reasons for everybody. How do you think that happened for you?
I think I got that question. It keeps going in and out. How did it affect me?
Yeah, how did you fall into burnout? Like for you, what was that experience?
Yeah, I think when I hit burnout, I just had not stopped. I didn't know self-care. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to put boundaries in place. I didn't know how to put myself first. As I said, I was this red Ferrari that was just going at 150 miles an hour and just didn't know how to stop. So I had to stop. Because I wasn't going to be good to anyone else unless I refueled my own tank. And so I actually took 4 months off. and I completely, refueled and put some self-care, and I learned, through having a coach, I learned how to put boundaries in place, and I started to become comfortable with saying no. And I wasn't familiar with that word at all. It was yes. I remember my assistant would say, Cole, you've got this on Friday night, but someone else wants you to go there. Yeah, put it in, no problem. We can do both. We've got this on Wednesday night. Do you want to do that? Yeah, of course I can. No problem. I would say yes to everything. Yes. People pleaser. And it just comes at a cost. So I would encourage all women, we're not going to change who we are, but start to look after and make sure we look after self, because we're in a much better place when we do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't listen to that whisper, it'll come as a hammer. I firmly believe it. I think when I became paralyzed from an MS attack 11 years ago now, I think it was very much to do with not knowing how to slow down. And I was trying to build a business in fashion, and it was just go, 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 go. And I had a couple of part-time jobs on the side, trying to make it all happen. And I had no idea how to look after myself. And it came as a hammer. And then when I had to take a couple of months off to learn how to walk again and to get medicine in hospital. And, but that was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I actually had an excuse to stop, which reminds me of really how people have felt in some of the lockdowns is, well, actually, maybe it's an excuse to just stop now. And it reminded me of that time when, for people, type A personalities, people that are very driven and they want to achieve, sometimes we just don't know how to feel good about taking a day off or just stopping today. And that even though I fell on my ass when I was paralyzed and it really threw me and changed my life completely, I'm still having to work on that every single day. It's embedded into me. And I absolutely agree with you. I think there would have been, in that 4 months that you took off, how did you feel? Did you become a whole new version of yourself rebuilding in that way?
Yeah, I felt really strange to start with, because I'm such a, so used to, being on that treadmill the whole time and never stopping. Yeah. But I went to my happy place, which because that's where we met and we catch up down there, is Sorrento. That is my happiest place in the world. Yes. So I took some time out down there. I reconnected with myself. I reconnected with my husband. I'd already lost one marriage. I didn't want to lose a second one. So I needed to stop, and I needed to consider everyone else around me, because when we have burnout, it doesn't just affect us. It affects every single human around us. And so that's the thing. Yeah. So, it was really about just reconnecting with myself, reconnecting with my family, and just slowing down and filling the tank. And, like you were just saying then, I'm sure there are days where you kind of go down that path again. But I think what we now do is recognize those signs of when we are starting to go, get back on that burnout train. Yeah,
that's right.
And we stop.
The way I do it is I have to set my state up in the morning to be as calm and as present in the moment. Because always when I'm in the past or overthinking the future, that's when I become stressed and more rigid. So if I bring myself back into the present moment with meditation, walking, journaling, drinking lots of water, eating a beautiful breakfast, my entire day goes completely differently, and I'm able to hold that thermostat, that real control in my emotions and my state. What do you do to maintain health and well-being?
Yeah, I'm sort of, I start my day at the beach, as you know. I pretty much walk every single day down the beach. So that's the way I start my day, and that just feeds my soul, I suppose. I love it, and when I don't, I feel a bit crappy. So I start my day. I get lots of sleep. I'm not a late night person generally. I actually even hate New Year's Eve, because that's far too late to stay up till midnight for me. Not a New Year's Eve person at all, although I do enjoy it. But, I like to get sleep. I eat well. I exercise. I do know when to slow down, and I like my own company. So I think that's a good thing as well. I'm not someone who wants to be with people all the time. I love people, but then I need to have my own space, and I've realized that I need some, put boundaries around me, having, my own time as well. But yeah, really just looking after ourselves. Self-care is really the key.
And when do you feel, what's your sign? Oh, I've got to slow down. Like when things are really ramped up, how do you shift it? What do you do?
Yeah, I kind of know because I suffer from anxiety. I get quite anxious. So
I couldn't
will
even
know
tell.
Pardon?
You could not even tell.
Yeah, I start to get anxious and my heart rate goes up and my breathing changes, and that's when I've got too much going on, and I know that there's too much going on in my world, so
Yeah.
I have to slow down. I always say we have to either add, delete, or change something. You know, so I look at it and say, what do I need to add, delete, or change? Because this is overwhelming. I'm feeling quite anxious about this.
Well, that's actually a good point. Like, I'm not an anxious person, but I do know that anxiety comes on when I've piled too much on and I'm capped. So, you know, that must be something that we all experience really at times.
Yeah, I think everyone has some form of anxiety.
Totally.
You know, different people have different levels of it and different people manage it differently. So I've had to learn how to manage it.
Yeah. This is such wonderful information and such a gorgeous conversation. I absolutely adore you, Colleen. Thank you so much for coming on a Saturday. I know you're super busy and being here with me on this live. I know so many people have joined us today. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on a Saturday as well. I hope you really enjoyed this inspiring conversation.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always so wonderful to see you and catch up. And thank you to everyone who joined as well. And I listened to a few of your other Insta live tapes, and just you're doing such a fabulous job. I know how hard you're working at the moment, and you know, to get your message out. And you've also just written a book, and you have your clinic, and you're just doing such a wonderful job, and you have such a beautiful message to share with people. So thank you for sharing your message with everyone as well.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. When's your book coming out?
It comes out, it's actually going pre-sale next week on my website, so stay tuned on my Instagram for that. And it actually will be in all good bookstores and Booktopia and Amazon the last week in April, so around the 27th of April. So I'm super excited. I was saying earlier, you know, the writing and all the editing and all of that is all the stuff you're doing on your own and working really hard, and now sharing the book is going to be, you know, that's my passion project, so I can't wait for it to come out. And of course I'll send you one with a big kiss on it.
Oh, I can't wait to read it. And your website is colleencallender.com.au. Thank you again. Beautiful.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Everyone
Always
have a happy Saturday.
Thank you everyone for joining. Sending you all kisses.
Bye.
Bye.